if you say you have your whole government in place, don't forget even the presiding member down there at the assembly is part of the government structure. And if all those pieces are not in place, and don't forget 100 days is only 3 months and 10 days by the time he forms his government and all that. So I think we should give him some slack and allow him. It was a torrent of attack, virulent attack. Afoko says Akufo-Addo is going to fail. I was sitting at home, I never even heard it.
Someone said that.
Yes.
LORDSON TV.
Munyina munim honorable Paul Afoko enkane chairman edeba the new patriotic party amanyokono exposing yenman panyini dada na do dankwa Akufo-Addo wo kwanya wo fa so no edidi free NPP amanyokonim na Paul Afoko anenkane no national chairman edema NPP amanyokoni say there is no way obetimi de NPP for so acha mo da the titulu man paying that Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. It's so her quine any type your near maybe in the bia Nana Danko Akufo-Addo and now by the year the tiano and poaching the Twasia Konya in the free chairman position. And this have you try a social Ghana tone swore a year the Basabasaman Guasia count Afoko and in the Busia any type you na doff one or so to me for people from so and chomo. Now send your words as ye brand won't post. I feel na Cassia beba. I was Samene no Paul Afoko waka edifa kwankra wo fa so free MPP amanyokonim kwankra fa so yi na di etu na konya na se akonya de abusia areho yekotie nsema Paul Afoko enkane the national chairman edi MPP amanyokonim nsem bia all kan ye ba ye beto so
as a member and when your tenure ends you are reinstated as a member. That was a court order,
right? So with that being said, were you following closely? Were you taking part in activities as a member of the new patriotic party?
No, I wasn't.
Why?
I wasn't because I needed to move on. I really needed to move on.
Have you moved on from the MPP?
I'm not moved on from the MPP, but moved on in terms of all the problems that came with the suspension, the removal from the party, and the reinstating, all of that, because it was a torrid time.
Very torrid.
I'm sure you followed it.
Were you bitter? Were you hurt, Chairman Afoko? Be sincere, be candid with us on stature.
Yes, I am going to be, because for 9 years I have kept quiet. And at one point, I really believed that I would be helping the party when the government at the time had just come in under Nana Akufo-Addo. I was called on air and asked, do you think Akufo-Addo is going to be able to meet the promises he made for the 100 days? And I responded by saying, no, he can't. No government can. I mean, if you say you have your whole government in place, don't forget even the presiding member down there at the assembly is part of the government structure. And if all those pieces are not in place, and don't forget 100 days is only 3 months and 10 days by the time he forms his government and all that. So I think we should give him some slack and allow him. It was a torrent of attack, virulent attack.
You were attacked?
Yes, from within the MPP, on air. Afoko says Akufo-Addo is going to fail. And I was sitting at home, I never even heard it. Then one of the most revered presidents we've ever had, President Kufuor, he called me and said, where are you, Paul? I said, I'm at home. He said, I'm also at home, come over. And, at that time we were neighbors, so I just went over to him. And he said, what have you been saying on air? I said, oh, nothing much. He said, you've just been saying the government will fail? I said, no, I never said that. And I said, luckily, I record my calls. So I pulled out my phone and I played it out to him. He listened and finally said, Paul, if you are saying something that positive and you can be attacked in this manner, because I've been listening to the radio, that's why he said to me, I think you should be careful what you say. And from that day, I said, no more.
No more radio interviews.
No more even talking publicly to the media about party politics.
Till today.
MPP, yeah, till today.
9 years ago.
You are the man who is making me talk. And I've told you why.
Thank you, sir.
At the height of all the problems, you were the only one who gave me a platform.
It's true.
To talk.
You said something about troubles and the 3 things that you should never
forget. The 3 things you never should forget, or 3 persons you should never forget. The first is the one who stood by you when you were in trouble. The second is the one who ran away from you when you were in trouble. And the third one is the one who caused the trouble for you. Never forget those 3 people.
That is deep.
And you'll be okay in life. You'll be okay.
So you were bitter 9 years ago when all that, storm was brewing.
It was anger.
It was anger.
Real anger. Because for me, I had come in to party politics not as a conscious decision. Initially, I went out. You see, I was involved with the party.
Right.
I was finance committee member and all that. So I realized that the party had reached a position where it was branded an Akan party, elitist and Akan. And I thought, no, we have to change this. So I actually went around, contacted 6 Northerners. I can name them all. They are still alive today.
Yes. Who are these people?
Do you really want to know?
Why not? Maybe just 3 names will do.
Well, the last one of them was Ambrose Derry, the former interior minister. In his house. And I went with witnesses.
You brought Ambrose Derry in. He said, look, come in and let's do this.
Come in and be chairman of the party. And he said, no, senior, I won't do that. Because he was my junior in Avasco.
Okay.
When I was in upper 6, he was in lower 6, I think, yes. And I was in lower 6 and he was in form 5, something like that. And he said to me, senior, no. Why don't you do it yourself? You are good at organizing. I've noticed that. Why don't you do it? And I said, no, I'm not into that. I'm ready to finance a Northerner.
To become the chairman?
To become the chairman of the party. Just so as to break this thing about Akan party and get the party moving away from a Bluto party, Because when I went to the Volta region, that's what they told me. They said, a Bluto party. And I had to also tell them that, no, we are not a Bluto party. Think about your origins. The first general secretary of our UP tradition was Modesto Apalu from Keta. We had Reverend Ayeke and all those people working for the party. So I tried. And I spoke to Zachariah, who served as a member of the Council of State, the last council. And he was also my senior in secondary school. I spoke to Boniface Sadiq. I spoke to quite a few of them.
That you are ready to finance a Northerner
to become a chairman. In order to break that thing about Akan-based party, Akan party, elitist party, and that it was something that was open to all of us. In the end, when each and every one of them refused, and the last person I visited being Honorable Ambrose Derry, and he said to me, why don't you do it yourself?
Star 103.5
I went away and I said, okay, forget it. But then, the late Atuluk, he came to me one day in the office and said, look, bro, this thing is serious. What you've told us, we have been talking to people out there to see which of them will be interested. So we promote the person. But it all goes on and comes back to tell him to do it himself. So I said, okay, I'll test the waters. That's when I set off. First thing I did was to go to the north, to my father, who has been a long-standing member of the MPP, regional treasurer, council of state, elected. So I went to him and I said, Dad, this is what I want to do. And he said, Paul, are you sure? I said, yes, I want to do it. What are your reasons? And I told him. And he said, okay, I'll think about it. Go and then we'll talk tomorrow. Next day I go back to my dad and he says, Paul, I think you should do it. It will be difficult, But I think if you are that determined, do it. So for me, I didn't set off initially to be party chairman.
Okay.
I'd served in the finance committee and that was enough for me.
You weren't ready to become the party chairman?
No. I wasn't thinking about that at all.
But how significant was that moment, personally and politically, in 2014 when you became the national chairman of the MPP?
Ooh, that was mind-blowing. Because, I went through a grueling campaign. I visited every constituency in Ghana 3 times. And I went the first time when we knew elections were imminent. So the people I spoke to in the constituencies were not definitely going to be executives next time round. And then the second time and the third time. And the sort of things that I had to go through. So it was such a great relief. Can you imagine that you are opposed by the so-called gurus of the party? I'm going to give you a quotation.
Sure.
After I saw my dad, I went over to see President Kufuor, and he just listened to me for a while, and he said, okay. And he changed the topic, and we're discussing something else. After a while, he just threw a question at me. He said, if you can do it, that would be great. By then, I was lost because he was now talking about going to observe the South African elections.
Okay.
So I said to him, sir, what do you mean? He said, you say you want to be chairman? And I said, oh, yes. If you can do it, that would be great. I thanked him. And then he said to me, go talk to Akufo-Addo. He is the presidential candidate. And I said, thank you, sir. So I left. I called Nana at the time, presidential candidate. Well, he wasn't. He had lost the elections and now he was going to contest again. And he said he was out and about. Those were his words. I'll come to the court. And I said, okay. So I went over to see Honorable Kwajom Piani, the Chief of Staff, Kufuor's Chief of Staff, and I talked to him. And in fact, Honorable Mpiani, his wife, Faustina, we call her Auntie. She just said to me, Paul, can you do this? I said, why not? She said, you don't take nonsense from people, and you get a lot of it in politics. It is something that I wonder. And I said, Auntie, I will do it for the sake of the party and the country. I will do it. I'll discipline myself. I am able to do that. Then Akufo-Addo called me whilst I was at Kwajom Piani's house and gave me time to come the next day. So I went to his house the next day and I told him what I wanted to do. And now I come to the court. He said, I suggest that you don't do any campaigning now because the party is in court. You remember the election petition?
Yes, correct.
You and I will not be.
Yes.
So wait until the decision is made. In fact, Addison, the lawyer, had preceded me into Nana Addo's study.
Okay.
So he came out and said, the lawyer has just left here and he says that a decision will soon be coming. So please don't do anything until after the decision. And I said, Nana, I'm not campaigning. I'm just informing people like you. And in fact, President Kufuor told me to come and inform you.
You told him that?
Yes. And he said, really? I said, yes. He said, and I'm grateful. I said, that's what he said. Then he said to me, okay, when the time comes and you are going to contest, and this is the quote, direct, I haven't forgotten it. What, since 2014? I haven't forgotten it.
Right.
You will
11 years ago.
Yes. And if the party is looking to the north, you will find that I am not your enemy. That was a loaded thing. But I just took it to my stride. I said, yeah. Instead of saying you will find that I'm not opposing you, I'll I'll be okay and all that. He said, I'm not your enemy. For me, it was nothing, and I went off. And that was it. Now, to have gone through all that, including party gurus who were campaigning actively against me, trying to smear my name. On one occasion, they even called me a homosexual.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I don't want to name names.
You've been through a lot.
And I actually called the person who said that. I called him and I said, I hear you're calling me a homosexual. And so where did you hear that from? I said, I asked you a question. Either you say yes or no. He said, I don't want to engage in that sort of conversation. I said, anyway, I called you to tell you one thing. If I am a homosexual and you describe me as a homosexual, I will not be offended because that is what I am. If I am not a homosexual and you call me a homosexual, then you're only just telling lies because I am not a homosexual. So I'm not offended. I'm just calling you to tell you that this sort of negative politics is not good. So just leave it. Respect yourself. And it's an older man.
Wow.
Older man.
All in the name or because of politics.
Politics. So I told him my truth and cut it and moved on. This is what I went through. So on that day, after all the vote buying in Tamale.
Oh, people bought votes to kick you out, to make sure that you will not become...
I had constituency chairman come up to me and say, Chairman, not chairman then.
Yes.
Mr. Afoko, look at this money.
Wow.
I've just been given this money and told to go and share it amongst my executives.
Did you buy votes?
Why would I do that?
You've never done that.
I had gone round the constituencies. I had gone round 3 times. I had delivered my message. I had warned them that if we did not win the next election, the sitting president would win his second term. That would mean NPP being in the wilderness for 12 years.
Wow.
And we will be emaciated. So it was only good and proper that we got together, fought this thing properly and diligently.
And they bought into your message.
And they got my message. They got my message.
So we have votes buying in politics.
Oh, it's happening.
You witnessed it.
I witnessed it. I mean, I even went in anger to go and confront the presidential candidate at the time to say, look, please save your money. You are wasting your money. I'm going to win.
Who was that?
But who was the presidential candidate? Nana Akufo-Addo.
You confronted Nana Akufo-Addo?
No, they blocked me at the entrance to his room.
You wanted to go talk to him?
Modern City Hotel Tamale. They blocked me. And his bodyguards and said, oh, he's in the bathroom. He can't see you. And I saw Tanko, who is Dr. Bahomia's bodyguard. And I used to be very free with that guy. And I said, Tanko, I spoke to him in Hausa. I said, Tanko, what are you doing here? He said, oh, doctor is in there with Akufo-Addo. And I said, oh, really? So I turned to his bodyguards who had blocked me and said, are you really telling me that I can't go in because it's in the bathroom? But there's somebody else in there. So I turned to walk away and I met Kisi, the former Eastern Regional Chairman, and he was going in. So I said, Kisi, where are you going? He said, oh, I'm going to see Akufo-Addo. He's called me, so I'm going in. I said, oh, really? Good, I have a message for him. And if Kisi is honest, he will call in whilst we are on air and tell you that I told him.
That's what?
I said, go and tell the Akufo-Addo that he should save his money. He should save his money. And that whatever he does, I'm going to win this election. The person who brought the chairman, who brought the money to me, I was standing with him when he got a phone call saying, you told Akufo-Addo that you were not going to do what he is asking and that you will vote for him to be presidential candidate, but he should allow you the free rein to pick who will be chairman of the party. And he said, yes, I did. And I was standing there listening.
You heard him?
Yeah, I heard the person who was talking to him. And that was Lord Comey.
Lord Comey called the gentleman in question. What's his name? What's his name? No who's bad interview tonight.
Former ASU chairman.
former ASU chairman of the MPP.
Yes.
Lord Comey called him.
Yes. I was standing with him at Modern City. And he said, yes. Oh, but look, if it is that you need more money to go and do this thing, come, I'll give you more money. He said, I don't want any more money. And that ASU chairman is still alive. He's subsequently even contested the seat in ASU. And
you went on to win that election.
I won it that day, that night. And after winning it, you want to know how I felt.
Yes,
it
that's
was
the question.
Yes,
what moment like?
It
personally?
was so. First, I was tired anyway because I'd been on my feet all day, and then all through the count, which was way into almost midnight. So I was really tired, but the relief of winning gave me a boost of energy. It's adrenaline.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed the moment, and I was so. The significance of that win was not lost on me, because I suddenly realized that the MPP as a party would elect a minority person and send that clear message that we're not an account-based party. And believe it or not, my biggest block of votes came from the account regions.
Wow. And that is the truth.
Yes, and Volta region. The account areas and Volta region gave me more votes than the North, where I come from. What does that say about the party?
Did you speak to President Akufo-Addo,
yes,
then candidate Akufo-Addo?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
That same night he called me into his room.
Okay.
When I went in, he was there with Afoko, who is dead now, his uncle, and I went in with Boniface Sadiq. And he asked me, okay, congratulations, what are your plans for the party? And I said, well, we'll have to get back to Accra and see how things go. But all I know is that I will be an honest broker. I want to put the party on an even keel for us to go forward and fight the next election. And whoever wins our presidential primaries, we make that person president. That's what I told him.
And you meant that?
With all my heart. Because for me...
Did you support his bid? Now you had won as party chairman.
Before I became chairman, I supported somebody else. I supported Alan Chairman. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
I went around the country campaigning vigorously.
You believe that Alan was better?
Yes, absolutely. At the time, yes.
At the time, Dan, yes.
I believed it completely. But once I had become chairman, there was no way, as a referee of the match, you cannot be seen to be supporting somebody. So I became an honest broker. I stayed away from meddling in the internal politics. To the extent, I tell you, that even for parliamentary primaries, there were places I would go to, especially in the North. And they would see, somebody would come to me, oh, I'm contesting the primaries, oh, I'm contesting, give me support, give me. And I just say to them, look, I'm the chairman now. Yeah. I can't do that. I'm the referee. Go out there, fight. Whichever one of you wins, you'll get my backing to win the seat.
Wow. And you were as candid as
clear and candid, as honest as I was
possible that you
as I was brought up.
Correct.
My upbringing. We as kids, we had a saying, say the truth and shame the devil.
Correct.
We took it to heart. And don't forget, in previous interviews, I was bound for the Catholic seminary.
We'll get into that. Talking about, your upbringing.
So for me, all those things.
Your formative years.
Yes.
Did President Kufuor call you? What did he say to you on that day that you won as party chairman? What was his message? You remember?
Can I remember it now? No, but I can remember rather Araya Lassan, the late Araya Lassan, one of the stalwarts of the party. He had given me his blessing before I left for the stadium in Tamale. And after I won, I saw that he was calling me over and over and over. And I said, no, this old man, I can't talk to him on the phone. So I asked everybody to join me, and we drove straight to his house.
Wow.
And I went to him and said, sir, the victory is here. Your son has come with the victory.
Wow.
Very happy. Unfortunately, he died before the elections, and I made a promise to him at his graveside in Kumbungu that we will win the election, and I will come back and tell him that MPP is in power.
You did? Wow.
I didn't live to see that, did I?
But at least you got that message to him, and the MPP won. But you didn't go. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, talking about you didn't get to see that and all of that. 2014 elected, 2015 you were kicked out. Tell me about it. Your tenure was marked by fierce internal disputes, and eventually that led to your suspension. Chairman Afoko, tell me, looking back, do you feel misunderstood or unfairly treated?
I think it's both, actually. It's both.
You were misunderstood
and
unfairly treated.
Yeah.
You stand by that.
Yeah, I do. I stand by that. You see, for those who opposed me, those who didn't want me to be chairman, and fought me all the way, as I said, vote buying, mudslinging, lies being told, all of that, I still won with a huge majority. They never gave up. In fact, I was told that one of them said, and my tree is not good anyway, but
go ahead.
I speak tree.
At least you try. No problem. Go ahead.
Or see what the chairman. Yeah, crime. Manumba chairman.
Someone said that.
Yes, he's still alive.
Wow.
He's still alive, and he knows himself. Anyway, so we came to Accra, and it was all this. I wanted a reform of the party. I didn't want this party to continue being seen in that light of being an elitist party. I wanted it to be seen as a party of the people, a mass party. And so I started looking at the reforms. In fact, one of the reforms that I brought about, which was an operational thing anyway, was that I insisted on every constituency in this country opening a bank account. And I pushed 10,000 CDs into every single constituency.
You did that, Chairman. Yes. You are loaded. Every single constituency. You gave them 10,000 CDs.
Yeah, but that wasn't my money. That wasn't my money.
You have a good heart. You did.
Yes. And I was opposed strongly, even within the executive.
Why?
Why should you be sending the money to constituencies?
Oh, really?
No, don't do that. And I said, come on, we have to finance and fund our base. That was part of what I was.
But these are some of the same. I mean, these are the people, or some of them, who accused you of being out of touch with the grassroots, because it was some of, the comments that came up, and they felt that you were more aligned with internal factions than party unity. What would you say to that? How do you respond?
I would respond by saying that they were wearing blinkers. They had prejudged a situation and never had clear.
Mede nsɛm nyinaa esi osomfo asonaka ekyire adwakrom no midi makra.
Keep watching. Mofanto LORDSON TV. Keep watching. Don't change it. Keep watching. Don't change it. Keep watching. Don't change it. And one LORDSON TV.